Prohibited content. For the community, the site was more than just a threat to public safety. It was a constant, grim reminder of the horror that had unfolded within its walls. To them, allowing the building to stand was a profound disrespect to Karen's memory and to the community still reeling from the tragedy. The authorities, however, responded that they could not proceed with the demolition. They insisted that despite its visible decay, the complex still met the minimum requirements of the current building code. According to regulations, as long as a building does not pose an immediate structural danger and meets certain technical criteria, it cannot be forcibly demolished. This bureaucratic response left Karen's loved ones with a deep sense of frustration and helplessness. Meanwhile, the wheels of justice turned slowly for Jesús Campos Jr. It would be 2 long years filled with legal and administrative delays before his trial finally commenced in 2018. Over 7 days, the court meticulously heard testimonies, reviewed the evidence, and weighed the charges against him: aggravated sexual assault, kidnapping, and capital murder. When the trial concluded, the verdict was unequivocal. Jesús was found guilty on all counts. He was sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. But the legal battle was far from over. In 2020, 2 years after his conviction, his lawyers filed an appeal. It sought not just to review the sentence, but to have the entire trial declared void and a new one ordered. The defense's argument hinged on his age. He was only 16 at the time of the crime. They argued this fact should have kept his case within the juvenile court system, where penalties are typically lighter and focus on rehabilitation. Furthermore, the lawyers moved to have crucial evidence excluded in any potential new trial. They sought to suppress the contents of the seized cell phones, including the incriminating photographs, the chilling video containing the audio of Karen's final moments, and the threatening messages he had sent her before her disappearance. The defense claimed this material should be discarded due to alleged irregularities in how it was obtained. The court, however, swiftly rejected the appeal. The judges concluded that he had received a fair trial and that the sentence was entirely justified by the sheer gravity of his actions. In their eyes, there was no doubt. Jesús Campos Jr. had received the sentence he deserved. At the same time, another legal battle was unfolding. Karen Pérez's family filed a civil lawsuit against the owners of the apartment complex where her body was found. The lawsuit demanded $1 million in compensation, arguing that the owners had acted with gross negligence. They had allowed the property to remain abandoned without security or maintenance, turning it into a known haunt for at-risk youth. According to the family, this lack of responsibility was a key factor that facilitated the crime. The murder of Karen Pérez Marañón was a profoundly disturbing crime marked by manipulation, violence, and betrayal. Despite his youth, the perpetrator acted with an alarming coldness, leaving a trail of evidence without ever showing a flicker of remorse. The case laid bare the systemic failures in protecting minors and the acute vulnerability of young women in abusive relationships. It also exposed the critical importance of authorities and communities taking action against dangerous, derelict properties that pose a risk to young people. This case reminds us of the urgent need to educate teenagers about the warning signs of abuse, control, and manipulation in relationships. It is essential to foster open communication between parents and children, and to reinforce the presence of responsible adults in schools and community spaces. It also underscores the need for local governments to act decisively against abandoned properties which, when left unsupervised, can become stages for tragedy. Prevention, emotional support, and swift action can make the difference between life and death. Have you ever seen dangerous, neglected places like that in your own community? Do you believe the justice system should impose harsher sentences on minors who commit crimes as severe as this one? What part of this story angered or saddened you the most? Leave your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.